Right guys, another day and we are back for some more Championship transfer rumours. Plenty to dive into today. As always, any other rumours that you've seen going around in the Championship, make sure to drop them in the comments down below. And if you're not already, make sure to go ahead and subscribe. This is your best place to stay informed with everything going on around the Championship right now. But without any further ado, let's just jump in. We saw Callum O'Hare signing for Sheffield United as a free agent. I think this is another good deal for the Blades, along with that one they got done for Kiefer Moore a couple of days ago as well. He's at a good age, Callum O'Hare. He's coming off the back of a good season with Coventry as well, where he seems to have put those injury issues behind him. Good creative asset, and I think if you get the right players around him, he could thrive at Sheffield United. Millwall have re-signed Sean Hutchinson. This one's quite an interesting one. They announced back in May that he'd be leaving the club at the end of the season, but they've since reversed that decision and have now offered him a new one-year deal, which he has gone ahead and accepted. Hutchinson didn't feature that much for Millwall last season, only made 9 starts. Still think he's a capable player for the Championship when fit, but how much he'll feature for them next season, I'm not so sure. Burnley have announced the departure of Muric, who has gone ahead and signed for Premier League newcomers Ipswich Town in a deal worth £15 million. That's if all the add-ons are triggered in that deal. I believe it's a guaranteed £8 million that Burnley will be getting from this deal. Honestly, I think from both perspectives, this could turn out to be a decent deal. Burnley have got a decent amount of money for a goalkeeper, and Ipswich are going to get someone who will immediately improve their starting 11 for the Premier League next season. What happens now, though, with James Trafford at Burnley will be quite interesting. There's obviously been a lot of speculation over his future as well. Speaking of Burnley, they have gone ahead and signed Santos fullback Lucas Pires. The 23-year-old Brazilian fullback did spend last season playing in La Liga for Cadiz on loan. Excited to see how he gets on in the Championship. Following a successful trial with the club, Blackburn have announced the signing of Jack Barrett, with the young goalkeeper signing a one-year contract with Blackburn with the option of an extra 12 months. We all knew this one was coming, but Glenn Kamara's departure from Leeds United has been announced, the midfielder moving to Rennes in Ligue 1. Honestly, thought he was a tidy player for Leeds in the Championship last season, but Leeds have got a decent fee for him, around about £8 million in the end. If that money's reinvested in the correct manner, there's no reason why the club can't go ahead and replace a player like that, in my opinion. We saw Oxford United announcing the signing of Placheta. This one's quite an interesting deal. We knew that Oxford were probably going to be in the market for a winger or two this summer. They've got a deal for Placheta over the line, and I'm interested to see how he gets on there. None of his spells in England so far have quite gone to plan. He obviously came to Norwich originally with quite a bit of hype, but was never able to establish himself as a regular in that team. A short stint at Birmingham and then Swansea, where he didn't really set their world alight either. But you'd imagine at Oxford next season, he'll get the chance to be a little bit more of a star in that team maybe, and still just 26 years old as well. Still got the best years of his career ahead of him yet. We also saw Derby County announcing the signing of Ibu Adams. It's been well documented that the Rams have been going after him all summer long. Impressed while on loan there in League One last season, and honestly I think this could be a deal which suits all parties really. He wasn't particularly fancied by Cardiff. That club has got a decent fee for him, and Derby have got a player that they obviously enjoyed from last season. But those are some of the deals that we've seen going through in the Championship over these past few days. Now without any further ado, let's jump into the rumours. Slovenian midfielder Timmy Max Elznik has been linked with the move to Hull City. I've also seen Oxford United mentioned in contention for the midfielder as well. He's 26 years old, is currently playing his football in Slovenia. You'll have seen him in action in the Euros as well this summer. He was probably Slovenia's best player in that match they had against Serbia, got an assist for himself in that match. The latest reports are claiming that he's available for a fee of just over 1.2 million, so that's definitely one worth keeping your eye on. Coventry City have been linked with the move for French midfielder Antoine Benaid, who's currently playing his football in the Swiss Super League. He's 25 years old, does have quite the footballing pedigree. He came up through the PSG Youth Academy, but only made a few first-team appearances for them before he was let go. Has previously played for Red Bull Salzburg as well, 25 years old right now. That's a deal I can get on board with. Jacob Vidal Zetterstrom is the latest goalkeeper to be linked with the move to Derby County. They've been linked with so many shot stoppers in this transfer window so far. The Swedish international is the latest goalkeeper to be linked with Derby, but according to the latest reports, they have had their opening bid rejected for the 6'6" shot stopper. It's been said that Derby's opening bid is far away from what his club currently values him at, and it remains to be seen if the Rams will go in with a second bid. Speaking of having bids rejected, Leeds United have had 2 offers turned down for Sheffield United fullback Jayden Bogle. You can see why they'd be interested in a player of Bogle's skill set, very good attacking fullback, especially at Championship level. Both of the bids bids that Leeds have submitted so far, thought to be around about the £4 million mark, but the Blades have been quick to reject both of those offers. One thing worth taking into consideration with Bogle is the fact that he is now into the final year of his contract with Sheffield United. It's also been quite well documented that Leeds have been keeping tabs on Tottenham midfielder Oliver Skipp throughout this transfer window so far. Obviously, Skipp, a player that has worked with Farke previously from his time at Norwich, and Skipp last time in the Championship felt like an absolute cheat code. He was running games at that level, really good at the base of midfield for Norwich. But while Leeds are keen on signing the 23-year-old, it doesn't seem like Skipp is willing to drop down to the Championship at this stage. It does appear as if he does have interest elsewhere from other Premier League clubs who would be ahead of Leeds in the pecking order if Skipp was to leave Tottenham this summer. Bit of an update on Crescencio Somerville as well. According to Team Talk, his representatives have reportedly held talks with Chelsea this week, Rennes, another team who I have seen linked. If Somerville was to leave this summer, it's thought that Leeds could demand of upwards of £30 million for his sale. Feyenoord are among the clubs who have been linked with Stoke City winger Jun-ho. It'll be interesting to see how this one unfolds over these next few weeks. Along with Feyenoord, there are also said to be a number of other clubs who are tracking the Stoke City winger. Have to admit, really liked the look of him last season. Felt like in the second half of the campaign, he really started to come into his own when Stoke visited Deepdale. I thought he was one of their best players. Very tidy operator on the ball and still just 20 years old. He's got so much potential. Stoke would have the opportunity to flip him for a quick profit this summer, but in keeping hold of him, I think they'd have a greater potential to sell him for even more in future windows to come if he continues to develop at his current rate, that is. He is under contract with Stoke until 2027, so the club are in a decent position to call the shots on this one. And it looks like Sinclair Armstrong is on his way to sign for Bristol City, a fee being agreed anywhere from 2 to 2.5 million for the 21-year-old, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one develops, how he develops at Ashton Gate over these next few years. QPR fans will be interested to get your take on this one down below as well. Last season in the Championship, scored 3 goals, got 3 assists. He's a player with all of the natural attributes to be a top-level Championship player. It just doesn't quite feel that he's yet to put all of those attributes together. Last season was a bit frustrating. He had the potential to go from amazing to erratic in the space of a few seconds. I did a bit of digging into some of the stats of Armstrong last season. Only Sammy Smodux was caught offside more than Armstrong was in the Championship. And statistically, he was also the 7th worst finisher in the Championship. But with that being said, I think there's so much to work with Armstrong because of his natural ability. And QPR fans have seen it, and the potential there is so obvious to see that I can absolutely see why Bristol City are jumping on this sort of deal. There's also been interest from the likes of Stoke and Birmingham as well, but looks like Armstrong's preference was to sign for Bristol City ahead of those clubs. Really looking forward to seeing how he gets on there next season. Bristol City also still retain an interest in Scott Twine as well, who was previously on loan there at Ashton Gate, but it's thought that Scott Parker is still assessing him in pre-season, and whether or not Twine will be involved in that Burnley squad for next season, we'll have to wait and see, but Bristol City are among the clubs monitoring the situation. With Sinclair Armstrong on his way out of QPR, they're of course keen to strengthen their forward line, and it does appear as if they've got their man. Slovenian international Zan Silar appears to be on his way to sign for QPR. I'm quite excited to see how this deal goes. He's 25 years old, currently playing his football in the Swiss Super League. Over the last 3 seasons, he's scored 51 goals in 116 appearances. He's represented Slovenia at international level on 13 separate occasions as well. Looking forward to seeing how he translates to Championship football. Sheffield United being linked with both Paul Dummer and Matt Ritchie as they eye the former Newcastle pair, who are both available as free agents this summer. You'd imagine if the Blades did go in for either of those deals, they'd be on short-term contracts. Obviously, with their squad looking particularly thin right now, you take what you can get, and both those players would bulk up the team with a bit more experience as well, wouldn't they? Another free agent Sheffield United are keeping their eye on is Andre Dezelle upon his release from QPR at the end of this season. It's been well documented that the Blades are looking to strengthen the base of their midfield going into next season. They've already been linked with the likes of Matt Grimes, Kenny McLean, to name a few. But both of those players would obviously cost a fee this summer, and someone like Dezelle would be available on a free. Sunderland midfielder Pierre Ekwe is the subject of interest from Udinese, and I think this is the nature of the beast when you have a club model like Sunderland. You invest in so many up-and-coming promising players that eventually teams that are further along in the food chain will come in and sniffing for your players. The good news for Sunderland is that Ekwa is under contract with the club until 2027, and so they are in a strong position to get a decent fee for him should they choose to cash in. But guys, there you have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, anything that we've missed off today, make sure to get it in the comments down below. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.